Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. I'm here today with Marie Claire Kate. Marie Claire Kate is the founder of Acne Expert Skincare. She immigrated from Haiti when she was 16 and pregnant, eventually to become a $1 million business owner in Beverly Hills. She became a licensed skincare specialist and opened her first studio in 2010. Later relocating to Beverly Hills, she launched her exclusive product line in 2013, and she focused it on healing acne. Now, Acne Expert Skincare ships all over the world, and with the help of her products and tips from her beloved Acne Bible, AES clients achieve miraculous results. And I am just so excited today to tell you guys about the conversation we had. We talked about her coming from a rough start to achieving amazing results in her life. And it all leads back to mindset and shifting the stories that we tell ourselves and the decisions that we make, the things that we decide. My life is going to be like this, and the things that we confess, the things we fill our mind with, the positive people we hang around, and being the person that you want to see in the world. It was such a great, empowering conversation. It was it was dynamite in a small package today. And Marie Claire is just beautiful and adorable and inspiring. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode today. Wow, I am so excited, you guys, today. I have Marie Claire Kate on with me.
Yes, I'm so excited to be with you. Hi, everyone.
She's so cute, you guys. I love the hair, and I love the bright cherry red lipstick.
Just for you, just for you. Thank you.
Yeah, I love wearing vibrant colors because I think it makes you feel alive and vibrant.
It does. And we've been so quarantined, and any excuse to wear lipstick these days, I'm taking it.
Oh my gosh, right? Oh, for
Yes.
sure. Clothes, lipstick, driving
Yes.
the car.
Yeah, you get so excited. You realize like, oh my God, you've taken it for granted for so long. So now it's like any excuse, like, oh my God, I just love throwing on lipstick for any reasons these days.
And even I have people even putting on their lipstick and their makeup just to do a Zoom exercise class with me because it makes them feel better.
Absolutely. I get it. I understand totally.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
I bet a lot of you guys can relate to that right now if you're listening. But I'm really excited to have Marie on today because she's going to talk a lot about where she came from and how she got started to be. You have two female entrepreneurs here today. We both have businesses that we own. So I'm just going to dive into your backstory for everyone.
Yes, let's do it. Well, my name is Marie Claire, and I'm originally from Haiti. And I came here when I was 16 and I was pregnant. And my family sent me here, well, my mother, because it was such a big deal, of course, and then the shame and the guilt, because I went to an all-girl Catholic school. My family was pretty well known in the community, and my mother thought, "Oh my God, you've just tarnished our name. What are we gonna do?" So they kept it a secret from everybody. All my
Oh
friends, we've
my
kept it
goodness.
a huge secret. And they sent me here when I was about, she didn't even tell my dad, by the way, but he found out later on. But they sent me to California to have my son and then possibly leave him here and then go back to Haiti as if nothing had happened.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then the plan, God had other plans for me. I ended up staying here, and I was on welfare. I had to figure it out. I didn't speak English. I learned to speak English watching television. And I went to school at night to finish high school because during the daytime I would take care of my son. And then eventually I got off welfare. I got my first job. I was a bank teller, and then that led me into human resources. I ended up working for big corporation. I was an HR manager. I did all their sexual harassment training and new hire orientation. I enjoyed HR, but more than that is I always had this yearning for freedom because my son ended up being autistic and epileptic. So that was quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Yes, because he would have these episodes like 10 to 12 seizures a month, and we would end up in the hospital, and he's busted his head. I mean, we've name it,
Wow.
we have gone through it. And I had to call in sick so many times. So I was afraid. I said, oh my God, one day I'm just gonna lose my job because they've been so gracious to accommodate me. And I always wanted to figure out what else is there to do because I felt like human resources wasn't it. And then I thought, I think it's makeup, something in the beauty industry, right? And so I did makeup for a little while. That was my side hustle. So I would have my 9 to 5 and then do makeup on the weekend. And then in the meantime, I used to break out insanely. I know you can tell now, but something pulled me towards skincare. I think it was my cousin and her best friend said, you know so much about skincare. You're always doing research. You should become an esthetician. And I don't know, the light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, that's what I should do. Literally 2 weeks later, I was in skincare school. I was the best student in my class because it was my passion. I couldn't even sleep at night. I do my homework and extra, and my teachers were always so impressed. Like, God, Marie Claire, she does so much. And eventually, I graduated. I ended up working for spas, but in the meantime, I knew I wanted to work for myself. So I ended up working with a dermatologist. I got all these medical training. I became a medical esthetician. And then while I was doing that, I had opened a skincare studio in the back of my house. And I was seeing clients. I think I was making $300 like the first few months. I made no money. But but I knew it was like I can't give up because this is what I love to do and I don't have a plan B. So and then one day I realized I was selling my clients the wrong product for acne because acne became my niche. I heard someone say, if you want to be known for something, just niche it. You got to niche it down. You need to be known for the one thing. And then so I said, you know what, acne is it for me. So I became the acne expert, and that's all I did. I didn't wax, I didn't do lashes, all I did was acne. And before you know it, my business changed tremendously once I did that. And then 2 years later, so in 2013, I launched a skincare line. I found a manufacturer. I worked with a chemist, and I launched it without a website. So, but now the evolution to now, I mean, we're doing so well. Our sales are now at $140,000 a month. So it's been quite the journey. I still pinch myself when I say those numbers, and I know we have quite a ways to go, but I'm just so thrilled. And I feel so blessed to be at this point, to just be right here. So it's been quite the journey.
What would you say to somebody out there that's in a rough situation right now, kind of like what you were, about vision and being able to realize that this too shall pass?
Exactly. For me, my faith carries me. Um, my faith carries me, basically. So I think you need to have a spiritual connection to something, a bigger power, a higher power. For me, it's God. For you, it may be Buddha, it may be the sun, the moon. whatever it is, or it can be yourself, your inner being. But my connection to God has carried me through. And I always think when I look back, I realize I've survived 100% of the worst case scenarios, right? I've slept in my car for three days. I name it, I've been through it, and I didn't die. I'm still here. And, prayer has helped me a lot. And also having a different mindset, I think it's very important. So I changed my perspective on how I see things, because Wayne Dyer has one of the best quotes that changed my life. He said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I always like to see, well, what is in there for me? So I'm in the middle of the storm. What is there in the middle of the storm, for me to carry with me? What is the lesson here? And once I change the question that I'm asking, I get the solution. I hope that makes sense.
Makes
That has
complete
worked for
sense.
me.
Because
Yeah.
your brain can only, like, I learned this when I was competing.
Yes.
If you ask your brain a negative question, it only really knows how to answer it in a negative way. So it's kind of that focused. So if
Yes.
I am competing and I'm worried about falling out on my head, if I am asking myself, oh, what if I fall on my head? I'm more likely to fall on my head. But if I say to myself, well, when have I been successful before? My brain starts thinking about success and how I can be successful again. So it's so
Totally.
interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I'm more solution oriented. So I'm not like in the energy of the problem. I'm in the energy of the solution. So I'm always like, what is the solution here? There's something here for me. So it has worked tremendously for me. It's 100% of the time.
Now, I know, because I'm in business too, that at times it can be draining. How do you keep your energy up, and what is your solution for that?
I bring pleasure in my day. That is number one. Like do not, I take it very seriously. So if I know that today I have tons of Zoom calls, which I do today, I find a way to take a break. In between, I take a nap, I read a book, I listen to something motivating or spiritual. If I'm going to work on the computer, well, pre-COVID, I'd go to a beautiful cafe or a hotel lobby and work from there. And then I call it pre-paving. So when I wake up in the morning, my mindset is, okay, we meditate, I pray, I journal. I'm always in the spirit of gratitude. And that takes a lot of practice, believe me. But once you start thinking with gratitude, you find that you're less drained, rather than when you just wake up and you're just in the kitchen making coffee and then you're answering email and you didn't take time to align your soul. So this is what I do, and it works really well for me. And then when I feel drained, I step away, because then you lose your motivation. I feel like you lose your inspiration. So I always say feeling good is the work. So if I'm not feeling
Oh,
good,
that's so good.
yes, because I'm not going to find any inspiration. So if I'm drained, I'm not going to send a client or an email, because I'm coming from an energy of I'm drained, I'm tired. So I shut it down and I go take a nap. And then I wake up, I feel rejuvenating, and that's when I send emails. So very important to me. So I take pleasure seriously. So I like to say, treasure your pleasure. So whatever it means, it could be, oh, I'm going to just enjoy a cup of tea, and sit on the terrace 5, 10 minutes, and then just to recharge.
And so when you are like in the midst of something, let's say
Hmm.
you have a couple of employees that are, I don't know, maybe they're a distraction, or possibly they bring in any drama. What is your solution? Like, what do you do to keep that, situation under wraps? Like, when you have employees And I'm trying to ask this in a nice way.
Well, I work with vendors, so we have a tons of contractors, because we have a manufacturer, we have fulfillment center, marketing team, and whatever. And I feel like because I come from an energy of gratitude, my mindset is pretty much positive most time, and I find that the universe brings I attract those people. And so I haven't had any drama with anyone
I
because
love it.
yeah, my team is
Perfect.
pretty awesome. Yeah, and I think you can detect that. I love to talk to people via Zoom. I love to detect their energy and then talk on a soul level. Just I want to find out about your family, like make it a conversation rather than a job interview. That's how I found both of my assistants are amazing. They will not leave me. I mean, they've grown so much because we talk about positivity, their life has changed, and I'm always encouraging them, where something is positive, like tell me, because I want to celebrate it. Like we celebrate positivity a lot here. So and then my vendors, we're like family. Like we've never met some of them, but I know about where they're going on vacation. We talk. So I think when you connect on a soul level with your vendors and your employees, and the interview is more of a conversation rather than a job interview, that you find that you will find your tribe. So, and then even when you're not aligned, then you go, oh, thank God. Okay, so you're not the right person. You send them away with love. And then the next person, then you're like, okay, you're not the right person. That means the next person or the next one is coming. So that's how I approach it.
How do you find the right people?
Word of mouth. So let's just say like our Facebook ad agency right now, my email marketing team referred that person. So if I know that we have an amazing relationship and I know your personality, I know who you are and what you're about, I feel like you'll be able to recommend someone because you know me and you'll be like, oh, I know so and so. And that's how pretty much I find my team. So I go by recommendation. I rarely take out ads. So I think I took an ad out once, but I ask people that I know. So if I were looking for a trainer and you're not, I would ask you, well, who do you recommend? Because I know, okay, birds of a feather flock together type of mentality. And it's worked. It's worked. It really has.
So true.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And you get the right people by being the right person too, right?
That is correct. So you can attract them. So I always like to say, be the person you want to attract.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
Now, what would you like every woman out there to know about their skin?
Oh my God. Your skin, your skin is alive. Long time ago, there was this myth that your skin doesn't, it's just dead. It doesn't do anything, where your skin is alive. It's like the biggest organ that you have, and treating it properly in your 20s, you'll be thankful in your 50s. And the number one mistake I find most people make is they don't wear sunscreen in their 20s. And now we get to our 50s and we're like, oh my God, no one told me and I didn't believe it was true. So number one advice, take good care of your skin now. And even now, if you are in your 50s, it's not too late. So I recommend using a great vitamin C serum, a retinol at night, wearing sunscreen, ditch the sugar. Sugar is terrible for your skin. So those are my 4 top advice.
All
Yeah,
right,
take good care of your skin.
fix me up, Maria Kate. Fix me up.
You look great. You look great.
So I'll be, let's see, in September I'll be 58. So give me, what is my prescription?
You look amazing. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You obviously wear sunscreen.
Yeah, I have some on
I
right
can
now.
tell. I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, you're aging well. You look amazing. You look amazing.
Thanks.
Keep doing what you're doing. Do you wear vitamin C? Do you do a vitamin C
I
serum?
think I might have some of that. I used to do it a lot. I think I
Okay.
might have some of that. I've been using some Rodan and Fields.
Okay, great.
So I
Great.
think it's
Some
in the serum that I have, but I haven't used it very long yet. But I would love to try some of your stuff. So we'll have to talk later.
I'll I'll send you some. I'll send you some vitamin C serum. It's our #1 seller. I'll definitely send some your way. So I always say a vitamin C serum, which is an antioxidant, amazing, and a retinol
Oh, I
to
know
help with.
retinol is perfect because when I was growing up, I went to the dermatologist and they
Yeah,
would give you Retin-A. And I think that might be why I'm not wrinkling.
that's correct. I wear it. I bathe in it.
That's
I
good stuff.
love the best stuff ever. So I tell everyone, do a vitamin C, a retinol, and sunscreen. Those are your three basic skincare. It will save you when you get to be in your 60s, your 80s. Yes, absolutely. So you're doing great.
What about nutrition now? I know we've got to also think about that. What type of things do you recommend people do for the inside? Because don't you think that beauty comes from the inside out?
Correct. And we have tons of people with inflammatory issues like acne and dark spots. So I recommend that everyone, especially if you're dealing with acne, that you ditch the dairy. Dairy, we find causes tons of inflammation in the body, the excess hormones, we don't need it. So for what I subscribe to my clients is no dairy, no sugar. Read your label. If you're eating ice cream all the time, read the label. There are ice cream made with coconut milk that have no sugar added. I'm a big advocate of no sugar as much as possible because it does cause inflammation, spike your insulin, and add tons of cruciferous vegetable to your diet, like Brussels sprouts, asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli. Those are great for your skin. Wild caught salmon is amazing, and avocado, coconut oil, olive oil. Those are great ingredients. So I cook tons and I eat fresh and I eat organic as possible. And I'm not vegan. So when I do eat meat, I do grass fed and pastured everything. So the quality of your food matter, cooking at home matters, knowing what's in your food matters, read your label. So, and drink your water.
Yeah, I did so much of it during my competing
Yeah,
that it would be like so much water that now I had to take a break, but now I'm back
yeah.
to my water
You're back.
again.
Yes, water is good. It hydrates the skin and plumps it. And oh
Oh
yes, a
yeah,
good one.
and your
And add some,
discs in your back
yeah,
too.
exactly. Add some lime or lemon juice to it if you want to zhuzh it a little bit. That's good for your liver too. So why not? So I love water, no sugar, and
Now,
try and limit dairy.
don't you find that the good fats, because I know now I could have and get away with a little bit more good fat in my diet, like I need it, like the
I do.
avocado, like a little extra,
Olive
because
oil.
you're not secreting it as much because your hormones are diminished. So
Exactly.
I try to do a little extra of those things so that I can, my skin stays supple, my hair doesn't get dry.
I do too. We all my clients, everyone, I recommend ton. I eat an avocado a day. I do grass-fed butter, even though it's dairy, but that's the only dairy that grass-fed butter, great eggs, wild-cut salmon, or take an omega um, supplement. So coconut oil is great as well. So yes, extra fat is really good for you, and it helps you stay satiated a lot
Oh, for
longer
sure. Your
too.
appetite is, and I was just thinking this the other day because I had some injuries, so I had to take a break from some of my fitness competitions. And I
Hmm.
was just thinking about this the other day when I was eating something that, normally I would never touch, never, because I'm always like getting ready to do a show. And I was, I've had my break, and I remember thinking, this is so empty. This is empty food. It's fake food. I think I could just keep eating this and never ever be satisfied. Why do people eat this? Well, because it really doesn't fill you up. It doesn't do anything good for you. It's fake food, and
Yes.
you're never satisfied. Now, when you eat like broccoli, let's say you probably eat a serving or two. You're probably not going to say, "Can I have 2 bags of broccoli?" Like
No,
it's
no,
gonna. Well, first of all, you may people
exactly.
may not want to be around you,
No,
but but also it's going to be so filling, right? And
totally.
so I just thought about that. I was thinking about how true that is, that when you're eating fake food, it truly is never going to satisfy you.
Never. And you feel different. So I can feel the difference, versus having a muffin and a cup of latte and something like that for breakfast versus having some eggs and avocado, and add bacon if you're not vegan. Like that is a huge difference for me. Or for dinner, having salmon with avocado and roasted Brussels sprouts versus versus having a slice of pizza. It's a huge difference.
It is.
You'll, yeah,
You feel better too, because when you're eating fake food, it also makes you sluggish.
it does. It does. And you feel inflamed. I feel it the next day. My joint starts to ache. You feel bloated. Yes, it's like it's not worth it for me. So diet is very, very important. Yes,
And
for good skin.
circling back to the vitamin C serum, uh, is it vitamin C with peptides? Is that
Oh, you can have it with peptides as well.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
different ones. Yeah. So a peptide, it's great. Peptide signals your cells to work even better. So that is great. Yeah.
I
You
love
have a good one.
that.
I can see you look amazing.
Thanks.
You
Now,
do.
how young are you, Marie?
I am 49 years young.
You look amazing. You're
Thank you.
rocking it. And so you're eating clean, living clean. You got your faith going on, your mindset. Let's talk about mindset a little bit, because
Mhm.
you had to at some point turn that switch on, that mindset switch, because I think coming from the situation you were in, you could have had a lot of limiting beliefs. Tell us about that journey.
Yes. Um, you know, First of all, having a child early and everyone seems you get that scarlet letter, like shame, guilt. I carried that throughout my life for a long, long time. So I was really shrinking myself. So whenever someone asked me my age and my son's age, I would think, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm not worthy. Like, oh, I must have been a wild child. Like all these labels, and then my mother saying, oh my God, now you must get married. You must do this because you're you're no longer worthy, right? So going from that and battling depression, at some point, I remember, I think I watched a Tony Robbins commercial on TV, and he was talking and he says, when you switch your mind, you make the decision that you're going to make it, make a different choice. And I started to dive into, wow, the power of your subconscious mind. So I started to read books. And the more I read and I put it into practice, I realized my life was changing quickly and it became like a drug. And so now it's just a non negotiable for me because I feel better. I am thriving. And whenever I'm faced with challenges, and I just call them challenges, I know that there are opportunities there for me. So feeding your mind, like making it a ritual to read books that's going to nurture your mind, enrich your soul, is very, very important. Or working with a coach or having some sort of spiritual guide or spiritual coach, I highly recommend it. And if you can't afford one, there are tons of the YouTube that you can watch. Wayne Dyer, for example, changed my life completely with a book called The Power of Intention.
Oh, I'm gonna
Amazing
have to
book.
read.
Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Esther Hicks, Ask and It Is Given. Knowing that you have the power to create, like we are all creators. We came here to create. Like you can create anything that you want. You created a business that you love. I created a business that I love. So whenever it's in your mind, you have the desire, know that you have that desire for a reason and that you can create it once you approach it. You don't make it like it's a magic formula. Like, yes, you can create what you want because you are a creator. So I highly encourage everyone to find books that can help them reach, a point to where that you can make a choice. So that's how I did it. I started with Tony Robbins, and from there, I've read many, many books. But you know what? The best tip is you got to practice it. You got to
Right.
practice it. Yeah.
Right. And I love that so much because I was thinking the other day back to when I was in my marriage, my first one that was physically abusive. And I was thinking back to the day that I flipped the switch and I stood up to the 6'4"
Mhm.
giant in my life, because I believe that we all can have giants in our life that we feel are unsurmountable. And it's really what happened. I when I look back at it, I'm like, what did it? I had the power all along.
All along. And we
All
all
along. He
have
was,
the power.
he was intimidating me and I was
Yes,
afraid. But once I made up my mind, I was no longer afraid. I was done with that. And so I had that power all along. And I can think to different times in my life where you might get stuck, you might be in a mess, but as soon as you make that decision and you take that messy action, you get unstuck.
that's it. That's it. And I think that's the message for everyone, like knowing that you have the power. Like we say it, but practice it. Like try it, make a decision, find something, and you can start small. Like if you're eating tons of sugar, it's like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to try something different tomorrow. Rather than having the muffin, I'm going to make a meal. I'm going to have something healthy. Like starting like with small actions like this, like it just transmute into bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger things. So yeah, I
I
love
was
that. Good for you.
I was listening to my friend Heather Parody. Shout out to Heather. She has a podcast called Unconventional Leaders, and I had a little hand in her switching the name. And I think it's important what you name things. And she
Yeah.
had Jack Canfield on her podcast. It's such a good podcast. You guys will have to check it out. But he was talking a lot about stories that we get in our head and why that could make us be stuck. He was talking about this runner that was running and he was like 3/4 of a mile ahead of everyone else. And then his legs gave out on him and he was unable to finish the race. And so later in life, he would do all these projects, but he would never finish. And it's like these stories get kind of buried, right? So he believed that he just couldn't finish. We
Mm.
later finds out he had some kind of something wrong with his legs, and this is why they gave out on him. And he deals with the story of, in his mind, he just thinks, I can't finish things I start. So, what story do you think you've changed in your life to be where you are?
Oh my God, so many of them. Not good enough. Like I'm not good enough. I came from Haiti, had a child early. I was on welfare. Not good. When I started my business, I did not know anyone to know that I was Black. Crazy, right? Because there's the story like, well, because you're a Black woman, oh my God, you got to be in better. Like I had the stories because you just hear them and you're like, oh my God, I had the story that I don't speak English well enough. Therefore, I can't speak on Instagram. I'm not going to show my face. I'm not going to do demo. And when I stopped those stories, my husband said to me, you sound crazy. And I'm like, no, I know I'm crazy. Literally, because I'm like, well, I don't speak English well. It's like, are you insane? Yes, you do.
I
And
love your
people,
accent. It's just,
well, thank you.
it's slight. It's very slight, but I really like it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And once I got over it, and that was like 4 years ago, my business started to thrive. People were like, oh my God, you own Acne Expert Skincare? People would show up for my live. We do now, damn it, now you can't kick me off IG. So, but I had those stories that I can't make enough money. Like, oh, I can only make $10,000 a month. That's comfortable. Like, how can I make that? And so many stories like the right man doesn't exist, because you hear these stories like, well, all men cheat. And
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
right.
all that story. Yeah. People was like, well, all men cheat. No, that's not true. I don't know why we keep saying that story. Right.
Right,
Or
right.
because you're a woman, you can't do this and you can't do that.
Oh,
So
right.
now
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
you're a woman. Like, no one has ever done it before. Or people are like, well, no one's ever done it before. It's like, well, that's when we should do it. So I've transformed a lot of stories, just by making just a switch. And it's so simple. I'm surprised that more of us don't do it. I find myself like, oh my God, I can make another choice. Like, oh my God, that's true. Not all men are cheaters. But where did I get that from? Right.
Well,
Um,
it's like this belief, and then you start looking for the evidence of it.
and
It's
the evidence will show itself.
yeah,
It
so
will.
it's like if I, think women shouldn't speak, or have a voice,
Exactly.
I might look for the evidence of, oh, well, women, are there's not very many women speakers, or whatever the reason, or
Yeah.
I shouldn't be a woman, I shouldn't own a business, you know, because I'm a woman, or what. There's so many things you could
So
be
many things.
telling
Or
yourself.
after you give birth to a child and people are like, well, you've got to carry the baby weight for 20 years. Like, it's not true. You can transform your body at any time. You can transform your body, your mind, your business at any time. It doesn't have to be, well, because I had a baby,
Well, and
because I failed, because I was on welfare,
right,
because,
right, right.
yeah, yeah.
And you accept that. Like sometimes, like somebody, I remember somebody saying that to me. It was a family member saying, well, once you have a baby, but I'd already had two and bounced back. Oh, you're going to carry that baby away. And I thought, the heck I am. I'm not. And so I think it's this decision of, no, I'm not.
Exactly. So when I'm in a group conversation and people just make those suggestions, in my mind, I immediately go like, nope, not me. No, not me. I don't accept it. I don't. Or
Hand it
if it's
right
like,
back to them.
I give it right back to them. Or if it's something, it's a conversation that tends to be like more negative. Like, I'm not in those groups often, but sometimes, and I'll just say, well, that's interesting. And then I just keep it moving. So I don't carry anyone's story with me, because I used to, because you'll be like, well, um, somewhat it's cold season. We're gonna get sick. It's like, nope, I don't get sick. I'm whole and complete, well-being abound, and I don't get sick. I just don't. I'm
It's the
healthy and complete.
confessions we make with our mouth that drive the bus.
Totally. It really does. So I'm very careful. I catch myself very quickly. And of course, it took a lot of practice. I just practice it. I always say, if you don't practice it, knowing it is not good enough. You have to put it in practice.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. And I
Yeah.
remember going to New York. I mean, I am famous for doing things like this, but there was a guy, Isaiah Henkel is his name. He's kind of famous for his quotes, and Live Like a Lion is one of them. And
Mm.
he had really inspired me, and he was having this mastermind, and I kept emailing him. And one day an email came back, and it was, the letters were, no kidding, this just like minuscule, this big. And for you at home, it's minuscule. But I was like, did he say, do you really want to come? Is this really from him? It's not mass marketing? I'm like, it is. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I went to New York, and my husband came with me, and I got to be part of his mastermind. I volunteered,
Incredible.
and it was incredible. It was life changing for me, because I didn't realize how many limited beliefs that I held, until I sat in the room with people and we had to partner up, and you had to start speaking what your, limited beliefs were to the person, looking them in the eye, telling them why you believed it. And then you realize two things. First of all, your limited beliefs sometimes sound really dumb when you say them out loud. And then,
So true. You're like, this sounds ridiculous.
yeah, you're like, what? Why in the world did I believe that? And then secondly, that you're not alone. Everybody in the room, all the people that you thought had it together, all had limited beliefs. And he made me write on a paper my perfect day scenario. And I didn't, we had to do it 3 times. By the 3rd time, he really wanted me to be out there with it. I was like, wow, this is out there. And so I wrote, I want to skinny dip at midnight. I want to, eat breakfast with celebrities. I want a podcast in the afternoon. I wasn't even a podcaster then. And all, want to write my books. And I was just writing it all out, make my recipes for people. And so here I am. I don't want him to read this paper. First of all, I'm embarrassed. I don't want people to realize I want to swim with the dolphins and swim buck naked in the ocean, And he calls me up front and I have to read off my paper. And first thing I said was, this is my alter ego speaking. And he looked at me, and this is what changed my life forever. He said, do you believe you deserve to do the things on this list? That's the first. Then he said, I believe you deserve to do the things on this list. Do you guys believe she deserves to do things on this list? I can see her doing the things on this list.
Wow.
That right there, it was just,
I felt that.
It was. And in a month, I did 4 of the things on the list. It scared me almost.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That touched me. I feel like I was in the audience. Yes. Wow. It's like, do you deserve it? Oh my God. Imagine, when they ask you the right questions, like, don't you think you deserve it? Do you deserve it? Do you think you deserve it? Oh, that's beautiful.
Right.
And then I bet, were you in tears and you were like, did you cry?
It was very,
I feel like I would have cried. I feel teary. Like I feel teary. I'm like, oh my God. Yes.
But the other thing is one of my limited beliefs was that my partner was holding me back. And what I realized during that time was that nobody holds you back but you.
No one.
You have the power to say yes, you can hold me back, or no, nobody holds me back. And what really I found is I could take him along on the journey. He went with me to swim with the dolphins, and helped me with the podcast and many things. So it was really eye-opening in so many ways about, like, are you bringing the person along on the journey?
That's right. You change the perspective. It's like we hold our partner hostage sometimes, like, you're responsible for my happiness. And when you, then it's like, yeah, you're holding me back. Oh my God, what an eye-opening moment, right? And now it's like, you look at it, it's like, wow, look at that. What a blessing, right?
Yes, I think just to realize that even if you have, sometimes your partner, they don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand what you're doing, why you're doing it. It's not their dream, first of all.
It is.
Right? So they don't get it. So if you are feeling they're holding you back, you have to really examine that, because maybe they are dragging their feet. But that doesn't mean that you should let them hold you back if it's your purpose.
Right.
If it's your purpose, your God-given purpose. I believe in God.
I do too.
If it's your God-given purpose, the thing is he gave this life to you. I say this all the time. If God wanted someone else to live your life, he would have given it to them, but he gave it to you, and it's you're responsible. You're the keeper of your life.
You really are. And then once you answer the call, you're the keeper of your life. Yeah. And you find that doors start to open. It's like
Mm.
things soften up because he's making way for you, right? Because you keep saying yes, you keep saying yes. So I just keep saying yes. And it works like a charm. It really does. It really does. So what a beautiful story. I'm glad you shared it with me.
Thanks. I just think sometimes too, it could be fears that you deep down have of leaving people behind, because success can be scary too, because not everybody will go with you on your journey.
Yeah, and that's the limiting belief because they said like it's empty at the top or it's lonely at the top. I'm like, oh no, it is not lonely at the top. I have my tribe. I will find more people because someone said that to me. Well, it's very lonely at the top. I say, oh no, it is not. I'm gonna have a good time and
It's
I will
whatever you
find the
make it
people.
at the top.
It's whatever exactly. So I'm gonna be very happy there.
Well, also there's the answer again. Did you bring people with you on your journey? Did you enlighten them to what the journey
That's
is?
that's correct. That is correct. So I believe in all of that, empowering others. Like I share my life with everyone, my friends. If I find something that is helpful, I share it, whether it's a coach or a book. I buy 20 of them and I send them to all my friends. I'm always sharing. So it's not because I want you to, it's not because I'm imposing, but I just feel like, you might find something helpful. And then I love like when people are just kind of like around the same mindset that I am. I find it very much more enjoyable.
Right, right.
Then it's a lot more enjoyable to be in a group of people that are optimistic and they're believers and who are doing things to change their lives rather than be in a group of people who are just like, oh, everything is like, a thumbs down. So yeah, that's a
Right,
good one
right.
for me.
Surrounding yourself with those five people. And I think,
Yeah.
I had a podcast recently where we talked about making a list of soul fuel and soul suck. What
Oh,
I know, I was just going straight up soul fuel. I was like, oh, what fuels you and lights you up? That's what fuels you. And what drains you sucks your energy. So make your list and look at it.
I love that. I'm gonna do that.
Isn't it? Like,
I
'cause
love that.
there are things that are, what is your kryptonite? There are things that are very draining. And if you surround yourself with that kind of draining energy day in, day out,
My goodness, you're gonna
well,
burn your adrenals.
right. Well, wake up and say, in the morning, how do I feel? Am I
Yeah,
waking up 3 months in, drained every day? Then you
my
need to
goodness.
take inventory of your life and say, what am I doing? Who am I hanging around? What are the habits I'm holding that
Totally.
that I'm drained every day? Because I don't believe we're supposed to be living that way.
My God, I so do not believe in that either. So from like I cleaned up my mail from the mail I'm receiving for who I follow on social media. Like everything is just, it's a dance. So I know that when I pick up my phone and I look on, there's nothing there that's going to drain my energy. First of all, my friends, what I read, my environment, making your bed, like simple things, having flowers in your space, is your bed made? Even that, right? Did you meditate? Did you journal? Did you eat well? So many things we can do.
So many things
Yeah,
okay, you just hit it. So many things we do have control over, right? So focus on those things, because we can't
absolutely.
we can't focus on everything happening around us that we have no control over, but we can focus on what we ourselves have control over.
That's the only thing we can do. And once you know that, you'll have a lot of peace.
Yeah, I mean, because there's just so much going on in our world
So
today,
much, so
and
much,
we
so
can't
much.
control everything. Some
We
things,
cannot.
you just can't control. And
Yeah,
so, right? And you have to decide, well, can I help that situation? How can I help that situation? And
Exactly.
what can I not do? You know, because there are things that you just don't have control over, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. So I just control what I can control. And that's my environment, my mindset, who I'm around, what I watch, what I read, my bank account. So yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. So yeah, what a great conversation.
You are just
So
so beautiful today, inside and
thank
out,
you.
so
Thank
beautiful.
you. So
And I
are
just
you.
thank you. I want to acknowledge you so much for everything that you have done and how far you have come. And you're not even there yet. I think you've just
I
touched the tip of the iceberg.
That's what I told my husband last night. I call it a rampage of appreciations every day. Throughout my day, I'll find something. It could be that I receive a mail and there was a picture in it, something like I'm always doing a rampage of appreciation. And I was telling him last night, I was like, oh my God, I just remember last month when I was thinking, well, I need to hire another team member and all that. And then we have that. So I'm always going into like, and I appreciate this and I appreciate that and I appreciate this. So it's like, I'm always, and then I go and I look, I was like, well, next year at this time, oh my God, what will we be talking about? I would have accomplished so much more, There's so much more coming. Like every week, it's like, I'm like, okay, God, I see you're showing out. Okay, okay. I call it the showing out. I'm like, okay, God, I see you're showing out. Thank you, thank you. I get so excited about that. So I take time to acknowledge that as well. So I celebrate all the wins and I'm deeply, deeply grateful. So when I say thank you, I really mean it. I really mean it. I really mean it. So yeah, very life changing. I'm very grateful for my life. I'm truly, truly blessed.
I just want you today, because this has been such a great conversation. And I just thank you for being so open to share. What would you share with women out there, that just like a tip or a quote to empower them?
Oh, wow. My favorite quote sounds simple. And I said it before, and it's written all over my house. Everything is always working out for me. So that's the quote. If you say that to yourself all the time, you don't have to believe it in the beginning, right? And I invite you to look back and realize that you survived 100% of your worst case scenarios, that you're still here. And then you might look back, it's like, God, I got divorced. And then you look now, you have the best husband in the world. And then you're thankful for those moments, but you didn't feel it then. That, when it was happening, you're like, this is the worst moment of your life. So just think everything is always working out for you. And even when you think it's not working out for you, it is working out for you, right? Because I believe in dreams. I believe in the power of God. I believe that He gives us dreams and desires, that we're meant to be here to fulfill our purpose. We're meant to be joyful. We're meant to have an abundant life. We're meant to be complete and whole. So if you believe that, but even if you don't believe, just keep repeating it. And eventually your brain will catch up. And then you'll wake up and be like, oh, everything does work out for me. I have it in my car. I have it everywhere. I give it out to friends and it is life changing. This is one of those quotes that have carried me through so many things.
I
And I'm
believe
still
it.
here.
I do.
Yes.
I can look back to the worst moments and realize that they were guiding me to where I am right now.
Can you imagine when I got pregnant? I would never be here with you, right? It was the worst moment of my life. Like 16, I'm here thriving. I have an amazing family, an amazing husband. My son is doing well. I am doing well. I'm so grateful. But when I looked then, I wanted to die, right? I was like, please take me, God. I don't want to go through it. But look at us now. We've never met you. So it's been beautiful. It's
I
been
love
beautiful.
that. I
I
love
wouldn't change anything.
and I would just say to everybody too out there that we, like Marie said, she felt like she had to keep that a secret from everyone, and she carried that shame for years. And I did too with, you guys that have all listened before. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but you all know that I had too, and I had to act perfect on
Mhm.
the outside while falling apart on the inside. And that,
Mm,
you know, I would just say to you, if you have some kind of secret like that, the best thing to do to not let it have control over you and to get rid of the shame is to tell it.
that's correct. Because once you tell it, there's the freedom there. And then a lot of people's like, well, me too. It happened to me. And then you find out that you are not alone. You
Yes.
really are not. You really are not. So
Yes.
once I started to tell people, they're like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? Oh, my friends started to say, oh, I wanted to be there for you. Why did people were mad at me? Like, you never told us? And yes, so much
You're
freedom in
going
that.
through the worst hell with the biggest smile, and people don't know what's going on behind closed door. They don't know what you're hiding inside. And why are you carrying that? Like, just, you know what, the way to release it is to just get it out.
Just get it out, tell it. Yeah, it will literally kill you. It really will. So find a way to just tell it, and then there's so much freedom. Once you tell it, it's over. It
Yeah,
has no more power over you. That's
right,
done.
for
It is
sure.
done. Yeah, that's
Wow.
great advice.
So
Yeah.
good. This has been a powerful conversation. And equally, we're going to help you with your skin today. Marie Claire Kate is going to leave a code, and I'm going to put it in the show notes for everybody so they can get some of the vitamin C serum or whatever they
That's
need.
correct. Yes, yes, I'm so happy to just do that for your audience. So yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Marie. And thanks, everybody, for listening today.
Thank you so, so much.
You are the best. Mad love for you.